Welcome. I'd like to call this November 27, 23 council meeting to order. If you please rise for the pledge of allegiance.
Hi, Angela.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Rose.
Here.
Shields.
Here.
Simpson.
Here.
Coin.
Here.
Hare.
Here.
Hazeltine.
Present.
Lamb.
Reading of the minutes,
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields.
I will make a motion to approve the minute meetings of the regular meeting of November 13, 2023 as prepared by the clerk.
Second.
Any discussion on the minutes? Will the clerk please call the roll on the approval of minutes?
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Reports of standing committees. The Finance Committee met prior to finance this evening, and we have one more finance meeting this year. So I hope everybody could attend. Health, Safety, and Sanitation, Mr. Simpson.
Thank you, Mr. President. No meeting scheduled, nothing to report.
Thank you. Public Properties, Mr. Shields.
Thank you, Mr. President. No meeting scheduled, no report this evening.
Streets and Sidewalks, Ms. Hare.
Thank you, Mr. President. No report and no meeting scheduled.
Water and Utilities, Ms. Hazeltine.
Thank you, Mr. President. Nothing new to report and no meeting scheduled at this time.
Emerging Technologies, Mr. Rose.
Thank you, Mr. President. No report and no meeting scheduled.
Thank you. Requests for council action, we have a few of them for the Finance Committee. We have 23-231 budget amendments, 23-232 amend salaries and benefits code 3105, addition of second full-time law secretary, 23-233 amend SPD 1 development guidelines South Court Village, 23-234 approval of Medina Rec sponsorship banner, and 23-235 state capital grant project request. Reports of municipal officers. Mayor Hamwell.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to ask the council and the staff to keep Montville Township staff and the family of longtime trustee Ron Bischoff in your thoughts and prayers on Ron's passing here. The unofficial election results show the deer culling archery program was passed by the voters in Medina. The formal certification of the election by the Medina County Board of Elections is scheduled for tomorrow, November 28th at 3 p.m. The application, rules, and reviews for approval will then be available at the Medina Police Department. We chose that location due to their 24/7 availability. And then I wanted to mention the 39th annual Candlelight Walk activities that took place starting with the tree and downtown lighting on November 17th at 7 p.m., then Saturday, November 18th at 5:30. The parade of lights proceeded around the square, followed by fireworks synchronized to Christmas music. I can tell you that the square was more crowded than I've witnessed in over 40 years with the city, with people on all the storefront sidewalks, all the streets, and all across the square. It was literally shoulder to shoulder on Saturday evening. On Sunday, November 19th at 2 p.m., a new addition that Angela and George from Main Street arranged was for the Toy Soldier to perform. He started at the steps of the 1969 courthouse and then came down into the street in front. And while he was doing that, he was dancing with the children and adults and then stayed around for a good deal of time posing with any of the families that wanted pictures. I want to compliment Main Street on doing an excellent job in planning and organizing this three-day event, and mention the title sponsor, Root Candles, and the many other sponsors and volunteers that made the weekend exceptional, making Medina proud. And then last but not least, this kind of touched me. I know some of you aren't on Facebook much, but these are two quotes of mothers that were actually raised in Medina and now are raising their families here. And the first one is, "From the place that you come from to beyond what you see is a town like your town, if your town was a dream." And the second is, "There is something incredibly special about raising your family where you were raised. I'm beyond grateful, Medina. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Bowers, Assistant Law, Finance Director.
Nothing to report. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
President.
Mr. Huber, Law Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Thank you. Ms. Marshall, Economic Development Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report this evening, but remember what we talked about at the candlelight walk, about the lights.
I remember.
Oh, my.
We're waiting for your decision.
Okay. No pressure. Chief Kinney, Police Department.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Thank you. Mr. Toth, LST Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. Through October, the Life Support Team responded to 2,891 calls. And when we had Medina Township and Montville Township, we responded to 4,410 calls. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Gladys, Building Official.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Thank you. Mr. Pacoli, Service Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. The hot topic in service is leaves. Everybody wants to know what's going on with the leaf program. We are still active. We have 3 trucks out. There'll be, 2 trucks will be in the southeast, which is Ward 3, this week, and we're hopeful to get over to Ward 4, and then we'll make another round, and hopefully that'll be it, unless we get heavy snow in these next coming weeks, but we will continue the effort. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Patton, City Engineer.
Thank you, Mr. President. Work is continuing on the underground installation, utility installation on West Smith between South Court and just west of Huntington. Through traffic is not permitted, but local access to all properties, including businesses, will be maintained. This work will wrap up in 2 to 3 weeks. At the time, the road will be open to all traffic throughout the winter. The contractor will return next spring to begin work on the pavement replacement.
Thank you. Mr. Worley, Parks and Recreation Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just 2 updates from the rec center. Our leisure pool is scheduled to open this coming Saturday, December 2nd, with normal operating hours, and then we are hosting a after-hours pool party for the community, and you can register online. We're excited to get that open and appreciate the patience of the community and all of our patrons throughout that lengthy process of pool renovation. And then Thursday, December 7th, our fitness room edition will have a soft opening as well. We'll do a ribbon cutting later on in January once the room is officially complete, but we're going to open that space up so it can be used by the patrons. Thank you.
Thank you. Chief Walters, Fire Department.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Thank you. Mr. Dutton, Planning and Community Development Director.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no report.
Thank you. Notices, communications, and petitions, there's none. Unfinished business, we have one. Ordinance 17223, an ordinance authorizing the Finance Director to waive certain unpaid utility counts.
Move to approve.
Second.
Ms. Bowers?
Thank you, Mr. President. These request is to waive uncollectible utility accounts. The first few pages that are attached are for share of sales bankruptcies that we cannot collect on. And then their last page is for rubbish accounts only that have been uncollectible. Most of those are roll-off accounts that a number of them aren't in the city limits, and we've tried unsuccessfully over many years to collect and haven't been able to collect any funds. So at this point, we are calling those uncollectible and would like to be able to waive those off of our books.
Thank you. Any further discussion? I know we went through this through the Finance Committee a couple of times, made some modifications about certified utility counts being left on there, and made some other modifications and limited it to what Mrs. Bowers has talked about as far as the bankruptcies, foreclosures, and the rubbish accounts and all, so to be waived. If there's any questions on that? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Ordinance 17223 passes 6-0.
Introduction of visitors. Members of the public will be permitted the opportunity to speak on any issue or concern which pertains to the city during the portion of the council agenda devoted to introduction of visitors. All comments shall be directed to the chair, and a reasonable time limit of approximately 5 minutes will be imposed. If there's a group, please appoint a spokesperson. Speakers should approach the rear microphone and state their name and address so it can be entered in the minutes. Members of the public will be afforded the opportunity to comment on other portions of the meetings determined by the chair or by a vote of the majority of council members present. Is there anybody that wishes to address council at this time?
Hello, Angela Manstier, 149 Essex Lane. I just wanted, I know I've spoken to a lot of you individually, but I just wanted to kind of go on record to just thank City Council and all of the workers of the city. You know, I always joke that with this job, I got to peek behind the curtain, and sometimes that's not always fun. But for me, the last 2 candlelights in particular, it's been a very refreshing to see and realize how supported Main Street is and this community is by all the people that do all the work behind the scenes. And I hope that some of them got some recognition throughout the process with Candlelight, because they are absolutely tremendous. I felt like they had my back in helping to problem solve and to navigate everything, and I'm very grateful for them. And I know just from comments on social media that the community is as well. And I don't know if you guys get to hear that often, or if you go on Facebook. I know there's a lot of negative out there too, but there's just a lot to be proud of, and Candlelight is truly a community event, from what is entailed in it and then who works behind it and who supports it. And that includes you guys. So I just wanted to say thank you. We couldn't do any of this without you, so thanks.
Thank you, and I think the sentiment goes the same with Main Street and your and George's efforts, and of course the community's efforts in putting on such a great program. I think everybody enjoyed the Candlelight this year. Again, the weather was great. I think it was perfect weather this year, and the fireworks and everything just went off without a hitch, and I think it was a good time for all. So, thank you. Anybody else wishes to address council at this time? Okay, introduction and consideration of ordinances and resolutions. At this time, I'd entertain a motion to suspend the rules requiring 3 readings on the following ordinances and resolutions. Ordinance 172-23, 190-23, Resolution 191-23, Ordinance 192-23, 193-23, 194-23, 195-23, 196-23, 197-23, 198-23, and 199-23.
Mr. President,
Mr. Shields?
I will make a motion to suspend the rules requiring 3 readings of tonight's ordinances and resolutions.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion to suspend the rules? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption?
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0.
Ordinance 190-23, an ordinance to make appropriations for the current expenses and other expenditures of the city of Medina, Ohio for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2024.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Ms.
Thank you,
Bowers.
Mr. President. This is the city's annual budget, and this year the budget comes in at 59 million. About 16 million of that is payroll expenses, so then our total budget's about 44 million for the year. Thank you.
Any discussion on the budget? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption?
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Ordinance 190-23 passes 6-0.
Resolution 191-23, a resolution adopting a 5-year budget for the city of Medina, Ohio for the period beginning January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2028.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Ms.
Thank you,
Bowers.
Mr. President. This goes along with our annual budget. We adopt a 5-year budget just to project out how the city's going to look for the next 5 years.
Thank you, and everybody went through this process, and I think it's been going well for all the years we've been doing it, and we're still looking pretty strong financially for the next 5 years. I think the income tax, through the efforts of the Economic Development Department and the work of all the city department heads to make this a very attractive city for people to do business, has shown, since we're about $20 million in income tax generation over this past year, which is phenomenal. About 10 years ago, I think we were about $12 million, and we went up $8 million in about 10 years, which is great, which really helps the city out and makes the city be able to function on such a low income tax, because we only have 1.25 income tax for the city of Medina, which is lower than any of our surrounding communities, and we're able to perform and provide a great service to the residents with that low of an income tax. And over the next 5 years, if things continue to go as they have been, you know, we're financially stable as a city, so that's great. Good news. Anybody have any further discussion or comment?
I have a comment.
Yes, Reggie.
I'd like to thank you, Lori, for all the work that you and your group do to allow us to get these budgets through and approved, and just want to say thanks.
Agreed.
Any other comments? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the resolution?
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Resolution 191-23 passes 6-0.
Ordinance 192-23, an ordinance authorizing a job creation grant payments to Carlisle Brake and Fiction Products.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mrs. Marshall?
Thank you, Mr. President. On this ordinance, I'd like to table it until the next meeting. I am researching some, double-checking some information with Lori through Rita on the income tax paid, and I want to make sure that all the information is accurate, so we want to bring this back at the next meeting.
Okay, no problem.
Okay.
This, ordinance 192-23 will be tabled.
Thank you.
Ordinance 193-23, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute a memorandum of understanding with the Medina County Board of Commissioners to provide fixed route public transportation services within the city of Medina for a period of January 1st, 2024 through August 31st, 2025.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Mayor Hamel? Oh,
I can take
Okay.
that. Yes, this is a member of understanding, to enter an agreement with Medina County Commissioners through Medina County Public Transit to provide transit services for 2024 and the majority of 2025. This is similar to past agreements we've had with the county, which will contribute $90,000 to transit services. $75,000 of that will come from our CDBG grant, and $15,000 will come from general funds. That's over a 2-year period. And I'd just like to note that Shannon Ryan was in front of you, I believe about a month ago, about the MC Flex program, which was piloted in Wadsworth, which is more on-demand service. It has the ability to increase ridership and decrease the time the buses are just driving around empty. So it's been a success in Wadsworth, and they expect it to be a success, even more of a success in Medina. Thank you.
thank you. Any further discussion on the ordinance? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Ordinance 193-23 passes 6-0.
Ordinance 194-23, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a settlement agreement and release between the City of Medina and Olson Products, Inc. pertaining to the Medina Municipal Airport.
Move to approve.
Second.
Mr. Huber?
This agreement resolves the financial issues between the City of Medina and Flight Services of Medina, which is operated by Olson Products. This concludes the operation of the airport by Flight Services of Medina and permits the new operator, Ron Waldron, with his group, Coldstream Air Services, to start operations out at the airport.
Thank you, and I appreciate all your help and assistance on this, and, getting a new operator to the airport out there and up and going. I think it's, hopefully will provide additional use of the airport with additional services being provided to all the users of the airport.
Wanted to thank Nino and Pat for all the help that has gone into the transition. There's been a lot of time, a lot of meetings, and a lot of extra issues to deal with in this transition. It's gone well, thanks to everybody rallying around. Many thanks.
Thank you. Any other additional comments? Will clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Ordinance 194-23 passes 6-0.
Ordinance 195-23, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute a memorandum of understanding with the Medina County Emergency Management Agency to install an amateur radio repeater in and on the Progress Drive water tower.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion?
That's mine.
Chief?
Thanks, Mr. President. This is an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a memorandum of understanding with Medina County Emergency Management Agency. This is to install an amateur radio repeater on the Progress Tower. They've asked us to do this as they lost their prior spot, and the Progress Tower is an ideal location. It also provides us a redundant communication system in case our primary, secondary system goes down in the event of a national tragedy or disaster or anything that would impact our communication system. So it is a benefit for us as well. The prior MOU that was passed in finance 2 weeks ago had some amendments from the prosecutor's office. Mr. Huber reviewed the amendments and approved them, and they are presented in the packet.
Thank you. Any questions or comments on that? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Ordinance 195-23 passes 6-0.
Ordinance 196-23, an ordinance authorizing the purchase of three 2023 Ford Explorers, including upfitting from Montrose Ford for the police department.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion, Chief Kenny?
Thank you, Mr. President. This is authorizing the three frontline vehicles, purchase of those three frontline vehicles from Montrose Ford. All three of these vehicles and the upfit are budgeted. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion or comment? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Ordinance 196-23 passes 6-0.
Ordinance 197-23, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a Cleveland Clinic Fitness Center and Medina Community Recreation Center Health and Fitness Agreement.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion, Mr. Worley.
Thank you, Mr. President. This agreement allows the rec center to continue our partnership and collaboration with the Cleveland Clinic by offering Cleveland Clinic eligible employees access to our recreation center as part of their employee health plan. This draft that was included in the packet is going to be pending law director approval, as I was advised today that their legal team needs to take one more look at it prior to signing.
Okay. Any further discussion or comment on the ordinance? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Ordinance 197-23 passes 6-0.
Ordinance 198-23, an ordinance to clarify and unify the codified ordinances of the city of Medina, Ohio by amending various sections of Part 11, the Planning and Zoning Code.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion, Mr. Dutton.
Thank you, Mr. President. These are amendments to the Planning and Zoning Code, which primarily deal with uses, their definitions, and consistency throughout the various chapters and zoning districts. The current code is a little bit inconsistent in that nature, so this makes a more consistent definition, uses, and parking requirements across the board. There are also some other miscellaneous sections which are changes to, including clarification in the MU district that buildings may be constructed, the requirement for parking exempt areas to provide a parking plan. There's an increase in driveway width in the I-1 district, reduction in dumpster setbacks, which was something we had a lot of variances to, and some adjustments to outdoor storage and bulk storage regulations. The Planning Commission reviewed these changes at their September 14th meeting and recommended approval, and a public hearing was held on November 13th. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion or comment on the ordinance? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Ordinance 198-23 passes 6-0.
Ordinance 199-23, an ordinance amending ordinance number 221-22 passed December 12, 2022, amendments to the 23 budget.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion? Mrs. Bowers?
Thank you, Mr. President. These are new appropriations that are necessary to cover expenses through the end of the year, and one is for a grant that the police department received to appropriate those funds.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll on the adoption of the ordinance?
Rose.
Yes.
Shields.
Yes.
Simpson.
Yes.
Coin.
Yes.
Hare.
Yes.
Hazeltine.
Yes.
Ordinance 199-23 passes 6-0.
Council comments. Mr. Simpson.
Thank you, Mr. President. First, I'd like to, again, as the mayor said, wish the Bischoff family our deepest sympathy. I've had the privilege of knowing Ron for well over 45 years. He's been one of the longest-serving trustees, obviously in the county, but most likely in the state, too. The mayor and I had the privilege of 2 weeks ago attending the LST advisory meeting along with Ron and the other township trustees. Ron shared with us at that time that he's been a trustee for 54 years. He was a very dedicated individual, loved the job that he did. He mentioned to me that his wife had some medical problems and he was one of her main caregivers. And I said, Ron, she's really lucky to have you. And he said, no, Denny, he says, I'm the lucky one. He says, for all these years, believe me, I'm the lucky one that she's put up with me as long as she has. So his passing, he did have a great sense of humor, too. His passing is going to be felt not only by Medina County, but especially Montville Township. He was very dedicated there. There's going to be some big shoes to fill to replace Ron Bischoff. The second more happy note is, Angela, you and George again pulled off a spectacular weekend for the Candlelight Walk. And you're right, there's a lot of people in the city that assisted you and made things go smooth. And I know the administration and the council is appreciative of that, but we want to thank you and George for all your hard work, too. Other than that, just be kind to one another. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Hazeltine?
On Friday, November 17th, Medina County lost one of its brightest lights and one of my best friends, Carrie Park. This morning, we said our final goodbyes, and I'd like to thank Pastor Luke Linden for a beautiful service. Carrie touched so many young leaders through her position as the Director of Junior Leadership, Medina County. Carrie Park is the reason that Medina County has the Dolly Parton Imagination Library, provides access to one free book every month for children from birth till age 5. She expanded the Medina County Leadership Program to be the largest in the entire country. I would like to ask that you keep her family and friends in your thoughts, and that you would consider helping her dream of encouraging and fostering young leaders here in Medina County. Junior Leadership Medina County currently operates on a $1,000 deficit per student. The rest of the programming is provided solely through donations. So I would ask that you visit the website displayed on your screen and consider making a donation. Tomorrow is Giving Tuesday, and a lot of companies will match your donations. So I would ask that you consider, when you're choosing your Giving Tuesday donations, that you consider investing in our young leaders here in Medina County in honor of Carrie. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Rose?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My sympathies to the Bischoff family. Ron was always a kind-hearted, as Denny said, always had some sort of uplifting, make you laugh type comment. He will be missed. My sympathies to the Park family, and I know she was a moving force in Medina. And then on a brighter thing, Angela and George, great work, great job with the main Candlelight Walk. Yeah, that thing last weekend. It was great. Comments. My mother was watching ABC in Pittsburgh, and we made their TV with the Candlelight Walk. Rick Greenberg, or his store, and J&K, they both made it. So congratulations, you're at least known beyond Medina. Okay. And lastly, I know it's this time every year, winter's coming. When we get the big heavy snowfalls, please make sure that your fire hydrant is clear, so that in the unlikely event that Chief Walters and his team has to show up, they can find the fire hydrant quickly. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments? Hearing none, the meeting is adjourned.